It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, Wig slinging his way into studio is our game guru. But of course, we are talking about the anti-hero today. It's Venom. And of course, Venom, Let There Be Carnage releases tomorrow in local cinemas. We are so excited. So let's do a little deep dive here. He's become a character we love to hate, or hate that we love so much, more especially with the latest iteration on screen. And Grant Hines joins us to talk to us about this character's popularity in video games, because he lends himself to some drama, some fear, and a whole lot of action.
So
man.
Since I'm really excited, because Venom's my favorite Spider-Man villain, and since the cartoon in the 90s, he's captured my imagination. Just the fact that he's just like,
he's good and bad, and he's cool, man.
Yeah, and he's just such a cool, I used to draw a lot, so he's such a cool character to draw as well. And Spider-Man 3, sorry Sam Raimi, that movie was terrible. And like that ruined Spider-Man, well, Venom for me, and I was like, we're never going to see a good Venom, so I'm excited about it.
They could have done a lot more with it, yeah.
And we grew up playing a lot of these games, so let's go through some of these games.
Take me back to the beginning, the way back.
So in the 1990s, there was a game that, before I even knew about it, was a game called The Amazing Spider-Man. It was actually one of the first Spider-Man games, if not the first Spider-Man game.
It was brilliant.
It was black and white, side-scroller, and you could challenge Venom in it.
Check it out.
As you can see, look, in the sewer, he was also one of the final bosses. You'll find that he's often the final boss in the Spider-Man universe, which is really cool. And that was like the first time, if you didn't read the comic books, you'd be very confused as to what's going on in the scene. Then in 2009, we got Spider-Man Web of Shadows, also the final boss. You had like this really wild Venom where he had like multiple heads, and he was just like, it was larger than life, and you got to defeat him as like a small Spider-Man, which is really cool. But as you can see, that's Spider-Man with the symbiote on. People don't, not a lot of people know this, but Spider-Man actually would get the symbiote at some stage and also do things that Spider-Man wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, he was stronger.
He started becoming a villain.
Less inhibitions,
and Eddie Brock was obviously taking advantage of that. But look how scary this Venom is. It's just like that's what the symbiote is. And that's what, like, Carnage is such an exciting character, because Carnage is like Venom, but like more scary.
Yeah, for sure.
So look at all this. There's all the 5 heads, which is really cool. Then for a more kiddie, family-friendly approach in 2013, we had the Lego Marvel superheroes game, which I thoroughly loved. It's just really nice to play with your partner, or if you've got kids, because you can play together. And Venom's a little bit more chilled, as you can see. He's a little bit weird. He still looks like a spider running around, but it's still Venom, right? Like, you still can go like, yeah, I remember the comic books. There he's running through the building like that. It was very cool, and obviously all made of Lego, which is weird because symbiotes slimy and gushy
they're
and
so
stuff.
Fluid, yeah.
Lastly, I want to actually talk about one of my favorite games was Marvel vs. Capcom, right? So in 1998, that was the first Marvel vs. Capcom. It was called Clash of Heroes, where if you played Street Fighter, you were really excited because all the Street Fighter Capcom characters were pitted up against all of the Marvel characters, and the art style was amazing. So you remember the Lego stuff was all blocky?
Yeah.
Now the Marvel stuff was all like comic book-like and like hand-sketched, and it looked absolutely amazing. You can see like how cool Venom's when Venom fights.
It's a comic.
Look, that's Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock becomes Venom as the starting thing. He's even got the green goo, and you can see it's just like a little bit more kinetic. And I love these. If you find this at an arcade near your house, please take a photograph and tweet Expresso, because it literally is like one of those memories when I was growing up. I was like, I really want this at home. And you know, you had those rich friends who had like Sega Mega Drives and had this game. You used to be like, I need to go play.
And you lusted after it. They were your friend, but you were often at their house. Absolutely love it. I love the fact that Venom is getting his time and his due now, especially on cinema. I think we're all waiting for the ultimate Spider-Man Venom showdown on film. I think that at some point...
Cannot wait.
That's got to happen, and they've got to do it justice, because I don't think Spider-Man 3 did that justice at all. I agree with you completely.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, sorry, Sam Raimi, but we absolutely love Venom because he is an anti-hero, a hero we love to hate, or hate that we love so much, as I said earlier. But a beautiful history in games and on film. And of course, don't forget, Venom, Let There Be Carnage releases in cinemas tomorrow. And hopefully you'll be able to scratch that itch if you love him as much as we do.